Just imagine 20 years back, a movie release. It would be hoardings and trailers, and there's a lot of media spent. Here, in her case, it's very specifically directed to people who like her work. She can very clearly communicate to them, this is the kind of movie I'm doing, this is the movie which is going to be. So there is this actress known as Vamika Gabi. She's doing pretty good work. And so the question asked to her in one of the interviews that, what would you like to change about social media? And she said that, if I could go back in time and not be on social media, I would love it. For you to be able to tell people that there is a better way to cook, you would need to have a channel, you need to have a producer, you need to have a location, you need to have the right lights, and only then you can actually make yourself one particular dish, which my mom would watch, and I would be the person who would get the job of get a piece of paper and a pencil, and she would say, write this recipe down, right? That is, but I need to keep my kitchen fires burning, and I genuinely, I want that work for money. But the fact is, I don't want to do that. But here comes social media to my rescue, because what I do is, I'm now an influencer. I'm able to promote and make some money out of social media. So I only do those two projects, which I want to do.
So, hi everyone. This is Devleena. I'm back with one more episode on Icons Behind Brands today, and I have a very special guest with me today, Mr. Deep Ajwani, and with over 2 decades of experience of diverse, industries like retail, marketing, e-commerce, digital transformation. Deep is a true business transformer and a chief storyteller. As a director of Zomos Infotech and former chief marketing officer at udChalo, Deep is committed to propelling businesses to the new heights. Deep is also a movie producer with a short film, Chumbak, nominated at Cannes and featured amongst the top 10 short films of the year, which is truly exciting. So join us as we explore his innovative journey, exciting journey. Deep, a warm welcome on Icons Behind Brands.
Thank you so much. So if you see most of my experiences are, I've tried to balance both sides, the left brain and the right brain part of it, and tried to do as much as I could. And that's about it. I mean, so I come from a land of the Hindi film industry. Many people don't like it being called Bollywood, and I've been linked to it through family and through friends for a very long time. So it's just passion, for which I've done 2 Bollywood movies and worked as a producer with one, executive producer of the second one.
Lovely.
And helping 2 of my friends with 2 scripts at this point of time. But that is more passion. So the part is, it's like not every mom who's a cook at home wants to be a chef, but they always want to be.
Correct.
Somewhere they do want to give advice. Somewhere they are able to. So when you're from the marketing field, when you're from the creative field, it depends on how do you use it, right? It's just like a knife. You could choose to chop onions with it, or you could actually use it to hurt someone, right? So I kind of tried to use my creativity and channelize it in a way where it's so much more useful to me, and it helps me hone my skills as such. That was the whole objective. So yeah, I worked in 2 important parts of my career, can be divided into in a quadrant, where one is the creative side, and the other part is the staff and the line function, right? So the front ending side and the back, the person who's behind the camera kind of thing. And within this 2, it could be either you can be working with an agency, or you could be working with a brand.
Yes.
So you could be working in an agency in the creative side. You could be working in an agency, doing more stuff behind the scenes. The same way, if you work with a brand, you could be someone who's the sales guy who's out there meeting customers, or somebody who's doing data and analytics in the back end.
Correct.
So whatever I've done, I've kind of tried to cover each quadrant as such.
And as a person, Deep, how have you evolved, personally and professionally throughout your career journey?
So, I'll pick up from what you said is about art and science, right? For some strange reason, many people think art has nothing to do with science, but art itself is science. The asymmetry of art itself is science, right? If there is anyone who basically believes that art is, it breaks the norms of science, and there are no how do you say, boundaries, there are no kind of watertight compartments between them. Not necessarily true. Even if you look at
Mm-hmm.
art, in any kind of art, finally is within these, either it is two-dimensional or it is three-dimensional,
Mm-hmm.
and it's how you're able to cut through different facets of that art to be able to understand it. Right?
Correct.
I mean, I'll give you a silly example. You walk into a mall, and if you see a very good facade, or if you actually are walking through a general store, or you're trying to go through a departmental store, and you see a very good mannequin put up there,
Yeah.
you would say, "Oh, this is just plain art." But there is a lot of science, right? The science is the mannequin is of a particular shape. It's of a particular color, a particular material. The dress is of a particular fall. A large part of my earlier career was when I learned from my earlier bosses. Most of my
Mm-hmm.
learnings was from my earlier bosses, who said, "Is the first 5 years of your life, just put your head down and work, right?
Okay.
Don't ask too many questions, right?"
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I very frankly don't want to sound like some people who want you to work for 80 hours a week, but the fact was, do do more than think. Now, if the marketing guy doesn't understand business, then a lot of him and his team are considered as cost centers. The CFO, or whether it is the sales guy, says, "Arey yaar, ye fir se paisa mangne aa gaya," right?
Hmm.
So you
Because
are,
the budget has to go there.
although you are giving so much back to the business, although you are a part of the business, unfortunately, you're labeled as someone who's like the Nanand in a, that's where the
Support
Bollywood
team.
comes from, right? So that who's always considered as a Nanand in the, Ekta Kapoor serial, saying that, she's always going to be someone who's going to create problems, or only, but she may be a nice person, right?
Correct.
Don't label them as people, those who are frivolous, and no, marketing people are not frivolous. In fact, I prefer them to be people who understand business, who understand sales, who understand customer, who understand the CXO.
As a chief storyteller and a former CMO of udChalo, can you share like some of the memorable examples of how you have effectively communicate the brand story of udChalo to resonate with your target audience?
Basically, service for services, it does business with soldiers, and
Okay.
so we have two kinds. So we have a call center. We have our own call center. And the call center, apart from, so there are two types of people, those who actually run the call center. One are Veer Naris, which are wives of veterans and wives of soldiers, who
Okay.
actually are running the call center out of their homes, right?
Wow.
And that becomes extremely important, because when my customer is a soldier, either he's a soldier or he's a veteran. And when I mean by a veteran here is somebody who's retired. When they
Mm-hmm.
call, you have to understand that an army guy not necessarily is very comfortable, and he doesn't look at ticket booking the same way as you and I do, right?
Yeah.
So he expects the person on the other end to have the same kind of style, empathy, and respect for himself, and respect for the person on the other end of the phone. So these
Mm-hmm.
Veer Naris do an excellent job. Apart from that, we have certain soldiers who were
Mm-hmm.
paraplegic, right? So they were soldiers who, kind of are, I wouldn't use the word, but they are physically challenged at times,
Mm-hmm.
right? So they are
Mm-hmm.
paraplegic, they're physically challenged, but they are soldiers who have, in the line of duty, been hurt, been wounded, and they have permanent damage to their muscles, to their arms, to their legs, and they're not able to perform in the right way. But they are still soldiers. On
Correct.
the inside, they're absolutely soldiers. They speak the same lingo. They speak the same language. They understand the entire business. So
Correct.
where we said that, okay, they are now managing our call centers, and
Mm-hmm.
we seem to be doing a good job at it. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, the fact is, I need to go out to my customers and tell them that when you make phone calls, the person who's going to pick up the phone is going to be someone who's like you, right? He
Mm-hmm.
understands your business, he understands your story, he understands that whom he has to give respect to. And if there is a soldier who calls and he says, Ki, I have a flight from Delhi to Bombay tomorrow, and cancel my tickets. Now, for any other person at the call center, whether it is you, me, or anyone else, would say, okay, there's a ticket cancellation. He realizes that, okay, this guy is traveling from Delhi to Bombay. There is a special movement. There is some kind of emergency why their leaves are being cancelled. And that's
Oh,
why he cannot visit home after 9 months and needs to
oh,
stay back.
oh.
So the
Mm-hmm.
empathy in his voice is not
Mm-hmm.
about वो कैंसलेशन में 400 रुपए कट जाएगा इज अबाउट सेइंग अच्छा आपको रहना पड़ गया ठीक है मैं देखता हूँ मैं क्या कर सकता हूँ 400 रुपए तो वैसे कटते हैं
Mm-hmm.
let me find a way if we can try and reduce your cancellation fee,
Or maybe a
right?
refund
So
or
it's
something.
not about the 400, but it's not that the 400 affects anyone, but it's the way I'm telling you is that I understand that you want to meet your family, and I also understand that there is a reason why you're not able to do it. Now, how
Correct.
is it that we are able to publicize this? Because if we kind of publicize this, we kind of, I don't want to be one of those brands who does a lot of work as a part of corporate governance and to show the world that we are good people. But we genuinely
CSR.
wanted to tell our soldiers that through us, yeah, the CSR part of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
The corporate social responsibility part of it.
Mm-hmm.
I was more interested in saying that can I tell my customers, tell my soldiers, tell my army, navy, air force guys who are my customers, saying that please call, and if you call, the person who's going to pick up the phone is like you. So the camaraderie and the entire part of being able to understand each other's lingo will be so much more simpler. But at the
Correct.
same time, I can't ask this too much because I don't want to put these few people, those who are now working with us as paramedic soldiers, is that we're using them as advertisement, right? So how is it that we are bringing this up as a
Okay.
balance? So how
Mm-hmm.
should we do it? So we did 2 or 3 jobs over there. Nothing too fancy, more below the line rather than putting up hoardings everywhere and telling people
Mm-hmm.
about it. Because I didn't want to tell you and me. I wanted to tell
Correct.
the specific
This.
janta who are my customers. So
Correct.
that part, whether it was a YouTube video, whether it was
Mm-hmm.
an activity, whether it was doing that whole thing, was something I was very proud of because when we did it with them, with those soldiers, um, they felt they felt nice and they felt that
Mm-hmm.
they're here to do a job, and
Okay.
they told us that they enjoy making having conversations with people on the other side.
How do you see this? Like, in what ways has social media transformed the entertainment industry specifically? And how do you see it continuing to shape the way content is created, distributed, and consumed in the future? Like,
So there is this actress known as Vamika Gabi. She's
mm-hmm.
doing pretty good work, and um, so the question asked to her in one of the interviews that what would you like to change about social media? And she said that if I could go back in time and not be on social media, I would love it. But the fact is that of the, I mean, she was trying to say this. I'll just articulate it for you. She was saying that of the 10 projects which get, offered to me, 8 of them are ones which I don't want to do. Now, maybe the people are wrong, the script is wrong, my role is not
Okay.
strong enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I need to keep my kitchen fires burning, and I need to. I genuinely need. I want that work for money. But the
Correct.
fact is, I don't want to do that. But here comes social media to my rescue because what I do is I'm now an influencer. I'm able to
Oh.
promote and make some money out of social
Mm-hmm.
media. So I only do those 2 projects which I want to do. And these 8 projects, I can choose to not do them, be at home, hone my skills for the other 2. And
Mm.
most important, so she's able to use it as a source of income. That's point number
Yes.
one. Point number two is that by now, she she's active on social media, and here I mean the Instagram. Not only am
Mm-hmm.
I active, now I have the right viewers who like me, who like
Mm-hmm.
my body of work, who follow me.
Correct.
So those 2 projects which I'm really going to do, I'm able to reach out to them. Right? I'm
Correct.
able to reach out to them. And rather than having this above the line saying that, just imagine 20 years back, a movie release.
Mm-hmm.
It would be hoardings and trailers, and there's a lot of media spent. Here,
Mm-hmm.
in her case, it's very specifically directed to people who like her work. She
Mm-hmm.
can very clearly communicate to them, this is the kind of movie I'm doing, this is the movie which is going to be released. So, to answer your question, is that how do you, it's like that knife which we spoke about, right? I mean, you can
Mm-hmm.
choose to just chop onions or you can choose to hurt someone.
Correct.
Social media in itself, it's crazy enough to keep you up till 3 o'clock in the morning,
Yeah.
That's because it's very addictive. And I'm not even asking the question, everyone's been through it. The average time spent by someone on a reel is 7 seconds. That's the maximum time you get to gather somebody's eyeballs.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to use social media in a way that you're able to promote your work in the right way, right? I mean,
Correct.
imagine that you're a Sandeep Kapoor, you're a chef.
Mm-hmm.
25 years back, for you to be able to tell people that there is a better way to cook, you would need to have a channel, you need to have a producer, you need to
True.
have a location, you need to have the right lights, and only then you can actually make yourself one particular dish, which my mom would watch, and I would be the person who would get the job of get a piece
Mm-hmm.
of paper and a pencil, and she would say, write this recipe
Right.
down.
This.
Right? That is what was the old school way. Now
Yeah.
imagine that if you want to be a chef or you want to do something new, you can start off and make videos and be able to reach out to the right people so much more quickly,
Correct.
right? And then there are, coming back to cooking, it's easier to explain is that if Devleena is a great cook and she doesn't want a 5 minute video of how to make a new, how would you say, a fish
Mm-hmm.
curry, she just needs a 30-second video because I know how to cook. You just tell me what it is. So
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can
Yeah.
divide this into 30
Mm-hmm.
seconds, into a 3 minute, into a 5 minute video. So social media is basically going to be something um, similar to what cable TV or a Netflix did to television in itself, wherein I can choose, do I want to cook something new? Yes. Not a 30-second video, 3 minute video, or a 5 minute video. A 5 minute video is very important for someone who may be cooking 3 times in a year. A 3 minute for someone who cooks 3 times in a month. And there is someone, Devleena, who can cook 3 times a day if she wants to, and she's very quick. Give me a 30-second thing, I can tell you exactly. It's like the brief, right? You
Try.
work with your
Right.
boss. In the
Mm-hmm.
first 1 month, he takes close to 3 minutes to explain to you what he expects from you.
Yes.
So yeah, so we're coming back. So coming back to the part of is social media going to
Social media.
make a change in our lives? I
Mm-hmm.
think we'll kind of settle in, right? We'll kind of settle down. It's
Correct.
so I'll give you an example. Once upon a time at workplace, the internet was allowed or available only during lunchtime. Why?
Mm-hmm.
People are going to waste their time
On
surfing the
social
net.
medias. Mm-hmm.
No, not social media. I'm talking about before smartphones and before Blackberries.
Mm-hmm.
Your access to the internet was through your desktop or your
Laptop. Yeah.
PC or
Desktop.
your laptop,
Yes.
desktop, PC, laptop. And they would say, oh, no, 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 this guy is going to spend all his time. So, what am I going to do is I'm going to get people to access the internet between 1 o'clock in the afternoon to 2 o'clock in the afternoon. So, what is going to happen is people are going to have their lunch in 15 minutes, come running back, and in that 45 minutes, surf the net. And by the time lunchtime is over at 2 o'clock,
Mm-hmm.
they are going to be at their desks and they'll start working.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened? Finally, at the end of 6 months or 9 months, he said that let's open up the internet bandwidth completely for all the time when you're at work.
Mm-hmm.
So your usage went up. It was up 6 times for the next 1 month.
Correct.
After that, what do you do? I mean, it's 3 o'clock in the afternoon. You have a desktop in front of you. How much are you going to surf the net? What are you going to do? Right?
Correct.
So the human tendency is that if you're going to tell people that it is, it's the whole demand supply. As soon as you make the supply less, everyone feels it's important. As soon as you make it so much more easily available, people realize that I don't see this so much as okay, fine. So there's an I have access to the net. That's it. That's what I think. So
Correct.
in the same way,
Correct.
social media is at this time where it's being explored by anyone and everyone in different age groups. It is going to come to a point where you actually use it for your own benefit. Now, whether it is WhatsApp for business, whether it's Instagram for business, whether it's Facebook, or at least three new, or like a TikTok, right? A TikTok which was there, did very well, not there, didn't make anybody a difference. Someone else decided to move on to another platform, right? So something or
Correct.
the other keeps coming as such.
Correct. Correct. I think this is well explained about how the content has changed based on, the expectations of social media and social media consumers also. And this is how it is going to be. Right now, there are users of short form, long form, and there are users
Yeah,
for the long form, like, half an hour to 1 hour of videos as well. तो कैसा लगा आपको ये वीडियो? इसी इंटरेस्टिंग कॉन्वर्सेशन को हमने आगे भी कंटिन्यू किया है, जिसका पार्ट 2 भी अवेलेबल है. एंड इफ यू लाइक दिस वीडियो, डोंट फॉरगेट टू लाइक, शेयर एंड सब्सक्राइब टू इट. सी यू इन द नेक्स्ट पार्ट ऑफ द वीडियो.